When you walk into a Rogue Toys location, you can expect to find your childhood. We are Youth Relived. We like to have you relive it by looking back at some of those classic toys from the 70s, 80s, all the way till today. So we specialize in vintage and collectible toys. I've been buying and selling toys for over 25 years, and I've seen what I think is pretty much all of the trends. And what has always been a mainstay is those vintage and collectible toys. The vintage toys really go back to your childhood. It gives you a moment to get away. It can be a reprieve for a collector. A collector could be looking at value, and there's so many different ways to collect. But the one thing that stays consistent is the retro toys always have a home. The vintage and collectible toy market really comes from a couple of different places. One, whenever a property kind of re-earths itself, brings itself back up to be valid. For example, one of the staples is Star Wars. And Star Wars continues to be relevant, continues to be interesting, so it's always creating new collectors who are always looking for that older vintage stuff. Now, the vintage toy market currently is really being driven because accessibility to past properties. It's easier to find things like cartoons, movies, even shorts that were put out long time ago that people have access to these things now. They're turning it on to their kids and they're turning it into their teens, which is creating more and more collectors for that vintage and collectible toys. Rogue Toys has 5 locations to serve you, with 3 in the Las Vegas, Nevada area, 1 in Salt Lake City, and 1 in Portland, Oregon. And we have our web store at roguetoys.com. We're always available there, and we're always looking for innovative ways to get involved with our community and events. You may catch Rogue Toys at a national or local convention, and you can find our web shows on our social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. All of those are at Rogue Toys.